Script in American English, Was Bruce Lee immortal? The theory that's shocking the world, the forbidden knowledge that started everything, dude. What I'm about to reveal to you has been buried in the deepest vaults of government agencies for over 5 decades. This isn't just another Bruce Lee conspiracy theory. This is classified information that 3 people have died trying to expose. And what you're about to hear will completely shatter everything you thought you knew about the nature of life, death, and human potential. In 1947, 26 years before Bruce Lee's supposed death, a secret meeting took place in a bunker beneath the Pentagon. Present were representatives from the CIA, NSA, and a mysterious organization that officially doesn't exist, the Department of Consciousness Research. They had just received intelligence that would change the course of human history. Ancient Tibetan texts had been discovered that contained detailed instructions for achieving biological immortality. But here's the kicker, guys. These weren't just theoretical documents. The texts described a bloodline of individuals who carried specific genetic markers that could be activated through precise martial arts training. Combined with consciousness expansion techniques, the government immediately launched Operation Dragon Gate, a classified program to identify and monitor potential candidates for what they called evolutionary transcendence. The primary target of the surveillance, a 6-year-old boy living in Hong Kong named Lee Jun-fan, later known to the world as Bruce Lee. Dr. Margaret Whitfield, the lead researcher on Operation Dragon Gate, kept detailed records that were finally leaked in 2019 by her dying grandson. We knew Bruce Lee was special from childhood, her notes revealed. His genetic profile matched the ancient prophecies with 97.3% accuracy. Every movement he made, every philosophical insight he expressed, every impossible feat he performed, it was all predicted in texts written over 2,000 years before his birth. But here's what's really going to blow your mind, folks. The government wasn't just observing Bruce Lee. They were secretly guiding his development, ensuring he would fulfill what the ancient texts called the Great Transformation. Every master he trained with, every opportunity he received in Hollywood, even the specific people he met throughout his life. It was all orchestrated by agencies operating in complete shadows. We thought we were controlling the experiment. Dr. Whitfield's final entry reads, but by 1973, we realized Bruce Lee was controlling us. He had achieved something we didn't think was possible. He had become the experiment itself. And when he decided it was time to transcend physical existence, there was nothing we could do to stop him. What happened next would prove that death isn't the end of consciousness. It's just the beginning of something far more incredible than any government agency ever imagined. The secret hospital files that started everything, guys. What I'm about to reveal has been locked away in a Stanford University vault for over 50 years. In 1972, Dr. Robert Kellner, head of cellular biology at Stanford Medical Center, was conducting routine blood work for celebrity patients when he stumbled upon something that would haunt him for the rest of his life. The patient was Bruce Lee, and his blood samples contained cellular anomalies that shouldn't exist in any human being. I've analyzed over 100,000 blood samples in my career. Dr. Kellner confessed in a deathbed recording released by his family in 2019. But Bruce Lee's cells were aging in reverse. His telomeres were lengthening instead of shortening. His DNA showed regeneration patterns that we typically only see in certain marine organisms that are biologically immortal. The most shocking discovery: Bruce's white blood cells contained trace amounts of a protein that doesn't naturally occur in humans. When Dr. Kellner tried to synthesize this protein in the lab, it exhibited properties that defied known biology. It could repair cellular damage instantly and appeared to reset the aging process at the genetic level. Under electron microscopy, Bruce's cells moved in coordinated patterns, almost as if they were consciously directing their own evolution. The government classified my research within 24 hours. Dr. Kellner revealed, "They told me that if this information ever became public, it would cause worldwide panic. People weren't ready to learn that biological immortality was possible." The files were sealed, Dr. Kellner was sworn to secrecy, and the world continued believing that Bruce Lee was just an exceptional martial artist. But here's the kicker, dude. Dr. Kellner's assistant, Sarah Manning, secretly preserved some of Bruce's blood samples. In 1995, she had them reanalyzed using advanced technology. The results were even more shocking. Bruce's DNA contains sequences that match no known human genetic patterns. It was like examining the blood of a completely new species. Manning revealed before her mysterious death in 1997. Whatever Bruce Lee was becoming, it wasn't entirely human anymore. The files were sealed, Dr. Kellner was sworn to secrecy, and the world continued believing that Bruce Lee was just an exceptional martial artist. But dude, what if he was actually the first documented case of human evolutionary transcendence? The monastery that doesn't exist. Here's where this theory gets absolutely mind-blowing, folks. In 1968, Bruce Lee disappeared for 3 months, officially. He was taking a break from filming The Green Hornet, but recently leaked CIA documents reveal he was actually in Tibet, at a monastery that doesn't appear on any map, the Temple of Eternal Dragons, hidden 18,000 feet above sea level in the Himalayas. Master Tenzin Norbu, now 97 years old and living, in exile in California, finally broke his silence in 2020. Bruce came to us desperate for answers. He had been experiencing what your Western medicine couldn't explain. His body was changing, evolving beyond normal human limitations. We recognized the signs immediately. He was becoming what we call a skywalker, one who transcends the cycle of birth and death. The Temple of Eternal Dragons had been guarding secrets for over 2,000 years, according to Tibetan texts discovered in 1950, but never publicly released. Certain individuals are born with dormant genetic codes that can be activated through specific meditation practices combined with extreme physical conditioning. These individuals don't die in the traditional sense. They achieve what the monks call conscious immortality. The monastery's location is so secret that it can only be reached through dimensional gateways opened by advanced meditation techniques. Bruce was the first Westerner ever permitted to enter, Master Tenzin revealed. The ancient oracles had prophesied his coming for centuries. They knew he would be the bridge between Eastern wisdom and Western understanding. During his 3 months at the temple, Bruce underwent initiation rituals that pushed consciousness beyond normal human boundaries. He learned to separate his awareness from his physical form, to exist simultaneously in multiple dimensions, and to access the quantum field that connects all consciousness. The monks taught him that death is merely an illusion created by limited perception. Bruce underwent the ritual of 9 deaths during those 3 months. Master Tenzin revealed, he learned to separate his consciousness from his physical form, to exist simultaneously in multiple dimensions. When he returned to America, he was no longer entirely human. He had become something between mortal and divine. The monks taught Bruce that his mission was to plant seeds of human evolution through his films and philosophy, preparing humanity for the next stage of consciousness. And guys, if this is true, it means everything we thought we knew about Bruce Lee's death was completely wrong. The quantum physics breakthrough. Now here's where modern science finally catches up with ancient wisdom. And it's absolutely incredible. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, a quantum physicist at MIT, made a discovery in 2018 that she initially thought was equipment malfunction. She was studying how consciousness affects quantum states. When she decided to analyze archived footage of Bruce Lee's demonstrations frame by frame. Using quantum detection equipment, what we discovered shouldn't be possible according to conventional physics. Dr. Mitchell explained in a leaked interview before her research was mysteriously defunded. Bruce Lee's movements created measurable distortions in spacetime. His punches generated micro-wormholes, actual tears in the fabric of reality lasting nanoseconds. This suggests his consciousness was operating on quantum levels that we're only beginning to understand. The implications are staggering, folks. Dr. Mitchell's team discovered that Bruce Lee's famous one-inch punch wasn't just physically powerful, it was literally bending the laws of physics. High-speed quantum cameras revealed that energy was appearing from nowhere, violating the conservation of energy law that's fundamental to all known science. The punch generated force equivalent to a sledgehammer blow while barely moving an inch. We found evidence that Bruce Lee could access what we call quantum consciousness, a state where the mind directly manipulates reality at the subatomic level. Dr. Mitchell continued, if someone achieved permanent quantum consciousness, they could theoretically exist outside linear time, making traditional death meaningless. But here's what's really shocking. When Dr. Mitchell's team analyzed the quantum signatures from Bruce's movements, they discovered patterns that matched theoretical models for interdimensional energy transfer. He wasn't just moving his physical body. Dr. Mitchell explained, he was simultaneously moving versions of himself across multiple parallel realities, drawing power from infinite versions of Bruce Lee. The research was shut down when government agents arrived with classified documentation. Dr. Mitchell's final encrypted message to colleagues was chilling. Bruce Lee wasn't practicing martial arts. He was practicing reality manipulation, and if he mastered it completely, death would be just another limitation to transcend. This breakthrough suggests that Bruce Lee didn't just train his body and mind, he was training his consciousness to operate outside the normal laws of physics. And if consciousness exists independently of the physical brain, then death becomes just another limitation to transcend. The network of modern sightings, dude. Here's where this theory gets really crazy. Since 1973, there have been over 2,000 documented sightings of Bruce Lee across the United States. And these aren't just wishful thinking or lookalikes. We're talking about encounters witnessed by credible people, law enforcement officers, martial arts masters, even government officials, all reporting the same impossible details. Detective Mike Rodriguez of the LAPD has been tracking these sightings for 20 years. I thought it was urban legend until I saw him myself in 2015. I was responding to a robbery in Chinatown when this figure appeared. Same height, same build, same impossible speed. He disarmed 3 armed suspects in less than 5 seconds, using techniques I'd only seen in Bruce Lee films. When I approached him, he looked at me with those unmistakable eyes and said, "Justice never dies, officer." Then he vanished into thin air. Chuck Norris finally admitted in 2019 what he'd been hiding for decades. I've encountered Bruce 7 times since 1973. Each time, he appears exactly the same age he was when he supposedly died. He doesn't age, doesn't change, just appears when martial arts or justice is threatened. Last time was in Dallas in 2017. He stopped a terrorist attack that never made the news because the authorities couldn't explain how one man neutralized 12 armed attackers. What's most shocking is the pattern these sightings follow. Bruce Lee appears during moments of extreme injustice, or when the martial arts community faces corruption. He intervenes, demonstrates abilities that exceed even his legendary reputation, then disappears without a trace. Security cameras malfunction. Witnesses experience temporary memory gaps, and all physical evidence vanishes within hours. The most documented case occurred in Las Vegas in 2019. 37 witnesses, including casino security personnel, saw Bruce Lee stop an armed robbery at a martial arts tournament. He moved like liquid lightning, reported tournament director James Chen. The gunmen's weapons literally dissolved in their hands when he touched them. He didn't fight them, he just looked at them, and they collapsed unconscious. Casino surveillance captured the entire incident, but the footage shows something impossible. Bruce Lee appeared to phase in and out of visibility, sometimes appearing as multiple versions of himself simultaneously. Digital analysis confirmed it was the real Bruce Lee, revealed casino security chief Tom Walsh. Same biometric signatures, same unique movement patterns, but the video also shows he was existing in multiple dimensions at once. It's like he exists outside normal reality now, explains Dr. James Walsh, a paranormal researcher who's documented over 300 encounters. He appears to be some kind of guardian consciousness, protecting the principles he stood for while alive. If that's not immortality, I don't know what is. The scientific evidence hidden in plain sight, folks. The most compelling evidence for Bruce Lee's immortality has been hiding in his own films. This entire time, Dr. Amanda Peterson, a biomechanics expert at UCLA, spent 5 years analyzing every frame of Bruce Lee's movies using modern motion capture technology and AI-assisted analysis. What she discovered will blow your mind. Bruce Lee's movements contain mathematical patterns that suggest non-human capabilities. Dr. Peterson revealed in her controversial 2021 paper that was immediately withdrawn from publication, his strikes follow quantum mechanical principles rather than classical physics. The speed, precision, and energy output should be impossible for human musculature and nervous system. The most shocking discovery: Bruce Lee's heart rate during his most intense fight scenes never exceeded 72 beats per minute, the resting heart rate of a healthy adult. Normal humans would hit 180 to 100 BPM during such physical exertion, Dr. Peterson explained. Bruce's body was operating on principles we don't understand. His cellular efficiency was beyond anything we've documented in human biology. But here's the kicker: digital enhancement of his later films reveals something incredible. In Enter the Dragon, shot just months before his supposed death, Bruce Lee occasionally appears slightly translucent in certain frames. It's not film degradation or lighting effects, confirmed Hollywood restoration expert Tom Bradley. It's as if he was already partially existing in another dimension. Dr. Peterson's team discovered even more disturbing evidence when they analyzed Bruce's fighting techniques using supercomputers. His movements create geometric patterns that match sacred geometry found in ancient temples. She explained, these patterns appear to be some kind of code, instructions for consciousness evolution hidden in plain sight. More shocking still, voice analysis of Bruce Lee's final interviews reveals frequency patterns that modern AI identifies as non-human vocal signatures. His voice contained harmonic frequencies that typically only occur in quantum resonance chambers. Either Bruce Lee had evolved beyond normal human vocal capabilities, or were listening to a consciousness that had already transcended physical limitations. Noted Dr. Peterson. The most disturbing finding came when Dr. Peterson's team analyzed the mathematical probability of Bruce Lee's combat effectiveness. According to our calculations, Bruce Lee's success rate in filmed fights is 100%, mathematically impossible for any human being, no matter how skilled. The only explanation is that he was accessing information from outside normal spacetime, knowing every outcome before it happened. This evidence suggests that by 1973, Bruce Lee was already transforming into something beyond traditional human existence. The ancient prophecies that predicted everything. Here's where this gets absolutely spine-chilling, guys. In 1974, Harvard archaeologist Dr. Emily Foster was translating recently discovered scrolls from a hidden chamber beneath the Shaolin Temple when she uncovered prophecies that specifically described Bruce Lee's arrival and transformation, written over 1,500 years before his birth. The scrolls describe the coming of the Western Dragon, who would be born in the year of the dragon, master the fighting arts of both East and West, spread martial wisdom through moving pictures, and ultimately transcend death to become an eternal guardian, Dr. Foster revealed in her suppressed research notes. The prophecy even specified that he would appear to die at age 32, but would continue existing as a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds. The prophecy gets more specific. When the Western Dragon sheds his mortal form, he shall plant seeds of awakening in every soul who witnesses his power. These seeds will grow for 50 years, until humanity is ready to accept that death is merely a doorway to higher existence. Master Liu Weichen, guardian of the Shaolin archives, confirmed these prophecies in a secret interview. We have been waiting for the Western Dragon. For 15 centuries, Bruce Lee fulfilled every aspect of the prophecy except one, the final transformation. According to our texts, he will return in physical form when humanity faces its greatest test, leading the evolution of human consciousness. What's most incredible is that these prophecies describe events that wouldn't happen until decades after they were written. Hollywood movies, television broadcasts, global fame through electronic media. The scrolls even mention specific details about Bruce's life, his birthplace, his training methods, even the exact techniques he would develop. The prophecies contain mathematical formulas that describe consciousness evolution. Dr. Foster discovered, when we input Bruce Lee's biographical data into these ancient equations, they predict his transformation with 99.7% accuracy. They even predict the exact date of his death and subsequent immortal manifestations. More disturbing still, the scrolls describe a great awakening that would begin 50 years after the Western Dragon's transformation. According to the prophecy, this awakening would prepare humanity for contact with higher dimensional beings and the next stage of human evolution. The prophecies suggest that Bruce Lee's consciousness has been influencing events throughout history, preparing for his eventual incarnation and subsequent immortality. Dr. Foster concluded before her research was mysteriously classified by the Department of Defense. He wasn't just fulfilling a prophecy, he was helping to create the future it described. The Hollywood cover-up that went too far, dude. This is where the conspiracy gets really dark. In 2018, former Hollywood executive Jonathan Pierce, dying of cancer, decided to reveal what he called the biggest cover-up in entertainment history. Pierce had been part of an elite group within Hollywood that knew the truth about Bruce Lee's supposed death and had spent decades managing the narrative. Bruce Lee didn't die on July 20th, 1973. Pierce confessed in a deathbed video released by his family. He transcended. We witnessed abilities that day that convinced us he had evolved beyond normal human limitations. But the public wasn't ready for that truth. We made the decision to stage his death to prevent worldwide panic. According to Pierce, the events at Betty Ting Pei's apartment were completely different from the official story. Bruce was demonstrating his latest breakthrough, the ability to phase shift between dimensions. He was showing us how he could exist simultaneously in multiple realities. But something went wrong during the demonstration. He got stuck between dimensions for several hours, appearing dead to normal perception. The Hollywood elite made a calculated decision. We had scientists, government contacts, and studio heads all agreeing that the world wasn't ready to learn that human consciousness could transcend physical death, Pierce revealed. So we created the brain edema story, held a funeral, and swore everyone to secrecy. Pierce revealed that the group included major studio heads, government liaisons, and even scientists from classified programs. We had people from the Pentagon, the CIA, and organizations that don't officially exist. He confessed they all agreed that Bruce's transformation had to be covered up until humanity was ready for the truth. But here's the most shocking part. Bruce Lee was conscious throughout the entire process. He communicated with us telepathically during his death state, explaining that this was part of his evolution. He told us he would continue his mission from higher dimensions, appearing physically only when absolutely necessary. The cover-up involved bribing witnesses, falsifying medical records, and creating an entire false narrative about Bruce's final hours. We had teams of people working around the clock to make sure the death story held up, Pierce revealed. But Bruce told us this was temporary. Eventually, the evidence would become impossible to suppress. Pierce's final words were chilling. We thought we were protecting humanity from a truth too big to handle, but Bruce told us that eventually, the evidence would become impossible to suppress. He said that when enough people were ready to accept expanded reality, he would reveal himself again. That time might be now. The recent encounters that change everything, folks. What happened in 2020 has completely shattered the credibility of the Bruce Lee is dead narrative. During the height of the pandemic, when anti-Asian violence was spiking across America, dozens of credible witnesses reported seeing Bruce Lee physically intervening to protect victims. These weren't vague sightings, these were full daylight encounters with multiple witnesses and security camera footage. Maria Santos, a nurse in San Francisco, provided the most detailed account. I was walking to work when 3 men started attacking an elderly Chinese man. Suddenly, this figure appeared. I swear it was Bruce Lee, exactly as he looked in his movies. He moved with impossible speed, disarming all 3 attackers without seriously injuring them. When it was over, he helped the elderly man to his feet and looked directly at me. His eyes were glowing with this inner light. He said, "Tell them the dragon protects the innocent," then literally faded away like he was becoming invisible. The security footage from this incident was initially released by SFPD, but then mysteriously disappeared from all official records within 48 hours. However, copies had already been downloaded and analyzed by digital forensics experts. The figure in the video matches Bruce Lee's exact height, build, and movement patterns with 99.8% accuracy, confirmed tech analyst Robert Kim. But more importantly, the video shows him performing physically impossible feats, moving at speeds that create visible afterimages and generating force that sends 200-pound men flying with minimal contact. What's most incredible is that similar incidents occurred simultaneously in Los Angeles, New York, Seattle, and Vancouver. It's physically impossible for one person to be in 5 cities at the same time, noted Dr. Walsh, unless that person had transcended normal physical limitations and could manifest multiple versions of themselves. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, a quantum physicist who analyzed the footage, made a startling discovery. The energy signatures around this figure match theoretical models for interdimensional manifestation. He's not just appearing, he's materializing from other dimensions into our reality. The most compelling case occurred in New York's Chinatown, where 17 witnesses saw Bruce Lee stop a hate crime involving 6 attackers. He appeared out of nowhere, reported witness David Chen. The attackers' weapons literally dissolved when he touched them. He didn't fight, he just moved through them like they were standing still, and they all collapsed unconscious. The pattern is unmistakable. Bruce Lee appears to be operating as some kind of guardian consciousness, protecting Asian communities during their time of greatest vulnerability. This suggests not only that he's immortal, but that he's actively monitoring and responding to global events in real time. The quantum consciousness revolution, here's where everything comes together. Guys, and it's going to completely change how you think about reality itself. In 2022, a team of neuroscientists led by Dr. Rebecca Zhang made a breakthrough that finally provides a scientific framework for understanding Bruce Lee's apparent immortality. They discovered that certain meditation practices combined with extreme physical conditioning can literally rewire the brain to access what they call quantum consciousness fields. Consciousness isn't produced by the brain, it's received by the brain like a radio picking up signals, Dr. Zhang explained in her groundbreaking research. Individuals who achieve quantum consciousness can exist independently of their physical bodies. Death becomes irrelevant because their awareness operates from dimensions beyond space-time. The team studied brain scans of advanced meditators and found that their neural patterns match theoretical models for quantum field interactions. But when they analyzed archived EEG readings from Bruce Lee's medical exams in 1972, they discovered something extraordinary. Bruce Lee's brain was operating at quantum consciousness levels that we previously thought were impossible, Dr. Zhang revealed. His neural activity showed patterns, suggesting he was simultaneously processing information from multiple dimensional states. This explains everything: the impossible physical feats, the prophetic insights, the apparent ability to manipulate reality itself. Bruce Lee hadn't just mastered martial arts, he had mastered consciousness itself. He achieved what mystics have been seeking for millennia: the ability to exist as pure awareness, while maintaining individual identity, Dr. Zhang concluded. Dr. Zhang's team discovered that Bruce Lee's brain showed unique characteristics never documented in human neurology. His neural pathways had restructured themselves into geometric patterns that match sacred mathematics, she explained. It's as if his consciousness had upgraded its own operating system. The implications are staggering. If consciousness can exist independently of the physical brain, then immortality isn't just possible, it's inevitable for anyone who achieves quantum consciousness states. And based on the evidence, Bruce Lee achieved this breakthrough decades before science even understood it was possible. We've discovered that consciousness is the fundamental force of the universe, Dr. Zhang revealed. Physical reality is just one expression of infinite consciousness. Bruce Lee learned to navigate between different expressions, making death meaningless. Her research suggests that Bruce Lee's transformation represents the next stage of human evolution, the development of consciousness beyond physical limitations. The truth that changes everything forever, guys, after examining thousands of pages of evidence, countless witness testimonies, and scientific data that governments have tried to suppress for 50 years. There's only one conclusion that fits all. The facts: Bruce Lee achieved functional immortality through the conscious evolution of human consciousness. He didn't die in 1973. He graduated to a higher form of existence. But here's what's most incredible about this revelation. Bruce Lee's immortality isn't unique to him. According to the ancient texts and modern quantum research, every human being carries the same potential for consciousness evolution. Bruce Lee was simply the first person in documented history to complete the full transformation while maintaining his individual identity and mission. The evidence suggests that Bruce Lee is still actively involved in human evolution, explains Dr. Zhang. His consciousness operates across multiple dimensions, guiding selected individuals toward their own breakthroughs. Every person who's ever felt inspired to push beyond their limitations after watching his films has been touched by his immortal influence. This means that right now, as you're listening to this, Bruce Lee's consciousness might be observing, evaluating, and potentially preparing you for your own evolutionary breakthrough. The martial arts aren't just about fighting, They're about transcending every limitation that keeps humans trapped in ordinary reality. The pattern of evidence is overwhelming. Government cover-ups, scientific anomalies, witness testimonies, ancient prophecies, and modern quantum physics all pointing to the same conclusion. Bruce Lee achieved something that humanity has been dreaming about for millennia. He conquered death itself through the evolution of consciousness. What's most profound is that his transformation appears to be accelerating human evolution globally. Since 1973, there's been an exponential increase in people reporting expanded consciousness experiences, psychic abilities, and spiritual breakthroughs. Bruce Lee's immortal consciousness is acting like a catalyst, explains Dr. Zhang. His very existence is upgrading human potential worldwide. The dragon never died, folks. It just evolved beyond the need for a single physical form. And if you've felt that inexplicable pull toward self-improvement, that burning desire to become more than what you were born to be, you might already be receiving transmissions from an immortal consciousness that's been guiding human evolution for over 50 years. The question isn't whether Bruce Lee achieved immortality. The question is, are you ready to follow the path he pioneered? Because, dude, if this evidence is accurate, death is just another limitation waiting to be transcended, and Bruce Lee is still out there, still teaching, still showing us what's possible when consciousness realizes it has no limits. Smash that like button if this revelation just completely exploded your understanding of what's possible for human consciousness. Drop a comment and tell me, have you ever felt guided by something beyond normal reality? Have you experienced moments where you seem to tap into knowledge or abilities that shouldn't exist? Share this video with anyone ready to question the ultimate limitation, death itself. And subscribe if you want to explore more evidence that reality is far stranger and more hopeful than we've been taught. The dragon is calling, folks. The only question is whether you're brave enough to answer. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and remember, your only limitations are the ones you choose to accept. Evolution never stops. It just waits for consciousness brave enough to take the next step. The immortal legend continues. Will you be part of it?